You know Tom Ford's movie review for the drama House of Gucci was going to be tough from the first line. I recently survived a screening of the 2-hour and 37-minute film that is House of Gucci, the fashion designer Ford wrote in an essay for the digital weekly newsletter Airmail. Ford, the Gucci creative director from 1994 to 2004, had unique personal insight into director Ridley Scott's true-life drama around fashion dynasty starring Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, Al Pacino, Jeremy Irons, Jared Leto, and Salma Hayek. He admitted his opinion is perhaps biased, working with many of the real-life players in the saga, including Maurizio Gucci, the slain fashion house head played by Driver. Ford even appears in House of Gucci as a minor character played by Reeve Carney. The multi-faced designer is also a respected filmmaker, having directed A Single Man and Nocturnal Animals. The film is, well, I'm still not quite sure what it is exactly, but somehow I felt as though I had lived through a hurricane when I left the theater, Ford wrote. Was it a farce or a gripping tale of greed? I often laughed out loud, but was I supposed to? Was Salma Hayek's character a witch? Did Maurizio flee to Switzerland? Lady Gaga owns stylish and satirical House of Gucci with high-heeled star swagger. Both Gaga and Driver take high praise from Ford. While Leto and Pacino lead the actors who seem to be competing to see who can chew up the most scenery, he writes. Here are Ford's main takeaways. Driver gives a subtle and nuanced performance. He is the calm in the eye of the storm that swirls around him as his fellow actors all battle to see who can chew up the most scenery. Greater praise as the true star of the film. It is her film, and she steals the show. Ford says Gaga's accent migrates occasionally from Milan to Moscow. But who cares? Her performance is spot on. Ford stitches up these performances, saying, when the actors are on screen, I was not completely sure that I wasn't watching a Saturday Night Live version of the tale. Both performers are given license to be absolute hams, and not of the prosciutto variety, Ford writes. Irons is terrific and gives a far more restrained and layered performance than his on-screen relatives. Hayek is great, as always. Ford points out that the casting of Hayek is particularly inspired given that her husband, François-Henri Pinault, is the current owner of Gucci, a fact which will be lost on the mainstream audience.